friends. I am back. And if y'all can hear, I am a little bit sick. Um, I got a little stuffy nose and um, a cough. So I am drinking tea while I record. I was trying to not record while I was sick. Um, but it had been like a couple weeks since the last episode, and I didn't want to do y'all like that. I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and get the people what they want, child. Um, And honestly, I don't even know how I got sick, but here we are, child. Hold on, I'm gonna take a little sip of tea. Ew, it's medicine, not tea. It's like that Theraflu. Anyway, hello, friends. Welcome to episode 3 of Mind My Thoughts, a podcast with Jay. If I sound stuffy, you know why. If I forget things and stumble over my words, it is the sickness clouding me. But we're gonna rock and roll with it. This might be my best episode yet. You never know. Um, so this episode is about needing a mental break. I feel like life has literally been lifing for everyone around me, including myself. And it's funny, somebody had just texted me and was like, man, life been lifing. um, it's just, I don't know. I might, and I know I'm not the only person, but I missed the pandemic. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Like, yes, some shit went down. But on the flip side of it, it was great. Um, like you were able to just be at home. Them unemployment checks was coming in. Oh, well, not like rolling out of your bed, screaming over to the side, and just going ahead and you know, confirming that it was you every week. Doing that little certification, baby. I miss every drop about it. I mean, and no, the pandemic was a lot of shit happened. It was COVID. It was a lot of people that passed away. There was a lot of time that you couldn't really be with certain people in your life, so many family members and stuff like that. Um, but I'm not gonna lie, I had a blast. Like, and it was due to one being in the house with like my close family members, my brother, my sister, my mama, my dogs. Um, having that peace of mind from not really having to go to work. Because as I said before, I was like on the verge of quitting my job, and then the pandemic hit. And I was able to still collect a check, so that worked out. And then I did have to still go to school though. That was a thing. Um, but like the beginning, like the summer part of the pandemic, when they like slightly started letting us go outside, you still have to wear your mask, but that was cool. I had a blast because I had a group of friends, Jasmine, Destiny, and Megan. We made it a priority to go out with each other at least once a week. Um, and it was like a peace of mind. Like we were going through so much shit in the world, but let's get together and do things with each other. Like let's just catch up and say, hey, how y'all doing? What's going on in your day-to-day life? Um, what's bringing you down this week, what's bringing you up, like let's have some drinks, let's talk. Like we were going to new restaurants that we had never tried before. Like we were on a world tour all summer 2020, during the pandemic, and it was honestly great. And I feel like now so many people are, it is crazy for us to wish things would like shut down again. And I think it was one, like flights was $1. I was taking so many trips during the pandemic, it was crazy. um you were able to just kind of breathe a little bit. It was like, yes, you know what's going on in the world, but in your day to day, like, wow, you've never gained so much peace from not having to do so much stuff, not having so much of a responsibility. Even down to like there was a rent pause. Like, I mean, you still had to pay it, but they couldn't kick you out. People were like, businesses were more lenient with bills and late payments, and like even I want to say when I had Chase at that time, like if you had any overdrafts or something, like they will reverse those for you. They got their money back in the end, but still, um, them little pandemic checks was sliding through. Think there were positives in the midst of a negative. And now it's just like that shit catching back up to us. Life is lifing the hell out of everybody. Like, bro, it's just so much going on right now. Like, rent is steady increasing. And they steady putting people out of their houses left and right. Bills are increasing. The cost of living is high as shit. Groceries are higher than they should ever be. There's no way I'm about to be 30 and I've been through two recessions in the world. This makes no sense. They haven't said it's a recession, but baby, we know what's going on. It's rough. It is. And then we had Trump as president back then, and now we got Biden, and it's just, life is rough. And I feel like a lot of people are just taking it as it comes, and we're not taking time to take a break. Like during the pandemic, you had no choice but to sit down. And I know during that time, it was a very mental space for people where they didn't know what to do, what to say, who to talk to. Some people who lived alone, it was a very lonely moment for them, and you had to find things to comfort you in that space. That's where the group FaceTimes and the group Zoom calls and like spending Zoom holidays with people, spending holidays over Zoom with your family members. And doing like drive-by birthday parties. Like we made a way to find some type of peace and happiness in the moment that we were going through so much. And you really only had that option is to find peace, like to find your own mental space and have that break where it's like, okay, this is bad, but I have to make some good come out of it. Now it's like we're working nonstop again. We're trying to pay bills, trying to keep up with life, trying to have social lives. Like we 30, about to be 30, 25 to 30 years old, and we working more than we probably ever need to be because we're trying to keep up with the cost of how much life is. Like this is just crazy. Um, and I just feel like we deserve a space to just breathe, to have fun. And I know a lot of people and like the older generation look at my generation sometimes and they're just like, oh, all you guys do, well, my generation and the one like right under me. They're like, oh, all you guys do is go out, all you guys do is party, all you guys go is do is drink and smoke hookah and this and that. And it's like, yeah, because we're trying to find some type of break in between what we're dealing with on a daily basis. Like I know, okay, some people might party a little harder than they need to, but you really don't know what that partying or that being outside is masking. Which isn't a good thing. You don't need to hide from your problems with alcohol and liquor. I mean, from alcohol and smoking and stuff like that. But it's not always a bad thing. Like sometimes you genuinely just want to get out the house. Sometimes you genuinely want to go away and feel like I have a break. No matter what else is going on, I'll deal with my problems later. I'm just out. And even if you're not drinking, you're just sitting at one of your friends' house watching a game, or you're out to dinner with your girls. Like you just want to have a moment away from your day-to-day life. And that's okay. If that is what you feel as though you need to mentally take a break, then do that. Do things that bring you peace. Like I recently went to go celebrate my best friend's 30th. Shout out to Sela and the crew. We went to Dallas and it was an amazing weekend. Every single person who was there was like going through something, not like, stressed or whatever, but it was like all of us were dealing with something in our life at that point. And that weekend, literally from Thursday night until I had some flight issues, so I didn't leave until Tuesday morning, I want to say, um, or Monday night. I think everybody left Monday night. Um, so literally from Thursday to Monday, we just had a ball. Like you literally didn't know what anybody else was dealing with at that moment. We were just like in each other's space. We were having fun. Like yeah, we was drinking, but it was like more than that. Like we didn't have to be drunk to have fun with each other. Like we were we was like at our grandma's house. Like everybody all stayed at Sela's house, and we sleeping on couches, on air mattresses. Like we all like it was just great waking up together. We okay, who getting in the shower next? It's your turn. Okay, I'm getting in next. And like it was an all in all amazing weekend. And like I have so many pictures and videos from that weekend that I have not shared because I'm kind of selfish with it. Like I want to have that to myself for right now. I do plan on making like TikToks from that weekend, but it was great. Um, it was a little, hiccups here and there, but we all genuinely enjoyed each other. We all had an amazing time. Like everybody got home, and the best part, it was like a mix of guys and girls, so it was like really, really great time. And we all got back home and was like, man, that was a blast. We had so much fun. It was great. That was a mental break. Sometimes you need a trip. And if y'all know me, baby, I love to take a trip. If I could be a traveler, I would be. Okay. Um, Traveling is peaceful to me. I love traveling. I've become one of those people. It's crazy because I am afraid of heights. And I one like my first two or three plane rides as an adult, I used to be like holding on to the seat, nervous as hell. Like I remember one time I had to take like my anxiety medicine. I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared. And then not just I mean like I'm not scared anymore. I've become so used to traveling, especially traveling alone now. Not that I've been on too many plane rides by myself, but I kind of sort of have been like going to see people in different places. I've been on a plane by myself. Um, but I've learned to find comfort and peace in traveling and being on a plane. Um, I also don't mind a road trip, but after going to see my sister at LSU more than once, maybe I cannot road trip no more. I need to do like a 3 hour and under road trip. But it's just something about being out there, like in the open road, the skies. And that's my favorite part about being on a plane is seeing, looking out the window and seeing God's creation is like one of my favorite things. I love flying in the daytime. I love flying at night and seeing the lights all over the world. It's just peaceful. Like I'm one of the people who be on a plane and like mid-flight will open the thing up to just see like what's out there. Sometimes it do look like I might be on flight 828. Um, but it's okay. I always make it home. I always make it home. Unless in reality this is 5 years later. Who knows? um, but that is my mental break. Like people always like, dang, you always traveling. Where you going now? You doing this and that. And I'm like, yeah. And people probably be wondering where my funds be coming from. Mind your business as long as I get there. But that traveling brings me peace. It gives me a mental break from what I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And I love to travel. I love to meet new people, try new foods. I love to go out of town and eat for real. To go see my family and friends who don't live in Chicago anymore. It's just amazing. And I feel like that's a great thing that some people do take for granted. A lot of people I know have never traveled outside of the state before. Like I get on that plane, go travel somewhere, go have a blast, and travel with people that you know you can have a good time with. You cannot travel with everybody. That's a whole different conversation. But find your mental peace in anything. Like that brings me peace. Like I hate when them things touch the ground and I'm back at home and be like, damn man, it's all over. You blink and the whole trip be gone. You just be like, ah. But this is why I take so many pictures and videos and things so I can always remember what happened. But that again, like that was a moment where we to this day, even though it just happened a couple months ago, we're still talking like, man, remember that? This was so fun. I can't believe this happened. Like you just go and enjoy people and spaces and make that your mental break. Like what do you do when life is beating your ass? Who are you talking to? Do you have a therapist? Do you have a close friend that does not judge you, that you can speak to about any and everything? Do you have a different variety of friends? I've learned that you have friends for different situations. Um, like you can have five best friends, and everybody's your best friend. Everybody loves you, cares for you, whatever. You vice versa for them. But you have people that this one particular person you can talk to about this subject. This person you can talk to about this subject. Not that anybody's gonna judge you on the other subject. It's like some people just have that, that connection where it's like, okay, if I talk to you about this, you'll get what I'm saying. Um, and you like, what are you doing? I feel like a lot of people are just dealing with life and we're not taking moments to enjoy it in its reality. Because no matter what we do, how much we work, life is going to continue to go on. So why would you spend your entire life just working and not traveling and not going to concerts and not going to festivals and not having fun? Um, One of my goals this year was to travel once a month for the whole entire year. And I will say I have done that. I did not travel in January, um, only because I want to say I traveled December last year. No, I was sick. So I was sick December. Um, I was better January, then I got sick end of January because I was supposed to fly to New York for my birthday, and I didn't end up doing that. So I started traveling the second week of February. I went out of town twice in February, so that made up for January. Um, I went somewhere in March, April, May, June, July, August. I want to say I went out of town, but I can't 1,000,000% say for sure. But y'all know I took a note, and I got it written down all the places that I went. February, I went to Indianapolis and got tattoos. I went to Detroit to see SZA. April, I went to North Carolina for the Dream Girl Festival. In May, I went to Atlanta for Mother's Day. In June, me and my sister went to LSU for their orientation. In July, I drove to Nashville to see my mama, Queen B. Also went to Vegas for my dad's birthday. In August, drove back to LSU to drop my sister off. I'm sorry, not drove. We flew the first time, but drove to LSU to drop my sister off. In September, went to see Sela in Dallas and visit my best friend Elisa in Indianapolis. October, back to LSU um, for family weekend, and then November, I do not have a trip planned. Um, One, as you can see, I'm sick. And then Thanksgiving is like next week, and my sister is coming home for Thanksgiving. So I think we just might slide back to Indianapolis. I don't think I'm really actually getting on a plane in the month of November. Unless something comes up, we don't know. And then in December, I have a baby shower to go to. But this was one of my goals. I started off December, I want to say November, December of last year, and I said I am going to travel at least once a month. And people legit thought I was crazy. They was like, "What? Where you gonna go?" Like, I found something to do, baby. Don't worry. One, y'all know if you know me, I love a concert. I love a festival. I will find, like, I go out of town for all concerts. Hold on, need some tea. Honestly, thought my voice was gonna be hurting more talking as much as I was. So good, it's not. But like if you know me, you legit know I'm a concert person. I love a good concert. I'm a festival person. Festivals I feel like are amazing. You can go pay one price to see multiple people. So I go out of town for things like that. Um, and I truly was very proud of myself. Like I was very proud that I stuck to one of my goals. And to end December off, I am gonna make a whole bunch of TikToks of my trips per month. Um, but that's my piece. And I just feel like people are not finding moments where they can just be happy because we're so worried about so much of the shit that we're dealing with. We're so upset, we're so angry, we're so depressed, we're so stressed that nobody's actually dealing with things and just being happy. Um, and that's hard. It's hard to be happy when you have bills piling up and when the money that you're making is only covering your bills and you can't go out and do things. You can't go out and have fun and, spend money and do certain things. And then you're sitting in the house all the time and stuff like that. But it's like you have to find something for you. One of my friends I've seen before, I think she started this possibly during a pandemic. She started rollerblading. I was just like, that's a random thing to start. Um, but that was her finding her mental break. That was something that made her happy. My mom is in school right now. She went back to school she has her culinary arts degree and she went back again for another part of it. And it's for baking. And I legit went to sleep one day and I woke up and sis had a whole cake on the counter. I'm like, when did you do that? But she was like, she's found peace in baking. It's very comforting. I've seen it on a couple movies before too, but people say baking is very peaceful. Um, like there are people who work out. Working out is a mental break for them. That helps them clear their mind mentally so they feel better physically, mentally, and emotionally. Um, some people like myself, I talk to my therapist. I actually have not spoken to my therapist in the last 2 weeks because I changed my work schedule changed and we haven't picked a day to like reschedule it. And I will say, thankfully, knock on wood, no jinxing myself. I'm good. Not that I'm good not talking to her, but I've found other things to find peace in. Um, but me and her do gotta catch up, child. Who, child? Um, but also one thing, I love to read. I love, love, love a good book. And when we were driving to LSU a couple weeks ago, I got a book from the library months ago, and I had never read it. And I was like, I'm gonna just grab this book. Let's see if I read it. It's called Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. Amazing book. Plot twist like a mug. So I read the book, and I'm like, this is great. And something about books by great authors, they take you out of your world and into theirs. Like, I feel like I'm the main character in the book that I'm reading, that I no longer am dealing with whatever I'm dealing with. I'm now this person and I'm living what they're living. I'm feeling their emotions. Like, when I get into a good book, I get into a good book. Like, I am legit one of those people, if the book is really good and it's probably 20, 30 chapters, I can probably finish it like between 1 to 3 days. I have finished one book in an entire day because the book was so good I could not put it down. And I honestly cannot remember the name of that book. And that's sad because it was really good. But I read a lot of books, so don't hold it against me. But that's also what I do to take a mental break, because now I'm no longer dealing with my own things. I'm stepping away from it and dealing, I'm somewhere else. I'm in another world. I feel like a lot of times we don't even do simple things to, excuse me, just to get away. What do you do, listeners? What do you do when you need a break? What brings you solace? What brings you happiness? What brings you peace from the world that you're in? Because we can't stop the BS from happening. Like, stress is a non-stop thing. It just depends on how you deal with your stress. And you can be the happiest person in the world, something's still going to hit you left and right, because that's how life is. There always has to be, some type of good to outweigh the bad, and some type of bad to outweigh the good. Like, it's just not that bad things have to always happen, and which I'm learning, which I want to stop dwelling in, is sometimes I feel as though every time something good happens, there is something bad that is going to follow it. Um, I and I know this is not like on purpose. This isn't something it's just, and I'm a overthinker. So a lot of times in my head, it'll be, oh, I'm having too much fun. I'm enjoying this too much. Too much good is happening that I know somewhere, somehow, something bad is coming soon. And I actually read this thing on Instagram where it said, like, it was talking about Aquariuses, and it said, to some extent, you're so used to chaos in your life that you don't know how to deal with peace when you get it. And as soon as you do get peace, you're waiting for more chaos to come around and snatch that peace away from you. Sorry, my dog is being rude. Um, okay, we're gonna pause it. We're gonna just take a quick commercial break, apparently, because Millie does not realize that I'm recording. BRB. All right, I'm back, and I also needed to drink some tea. Um, he won't stop. Anywho, um, yeah, so when I read that, I was like, wow, that's me. Like, not that, I've had this terrible life and it's just been, thing after thing after thing. It's just like sometimes I'm so used to being caught up in a situation that's not particularly a great one, that I'm like, okay, if I'm in this now and then something good happens, I really don't stand in my good. I just kind of, I would more dwell in the bad when I'm in it than I do when it's good. Um, which isn't great. That's a terrible trait to have. I really am trying to break that. I want to always be happy, even though it's, it's not a really thing that can happen. But I always want to, like, I speak about peace a lot. I dream about peace. I want peace in my life, but I have to own my peace. I have to say, this is a good moment. I want to scream it from the mountaintops. This is where I am, and I'm happy about it. And it's okay to be happy. And I know for a fact that a lot of times it's hard for you to be happy when the people around you are not. So you tend to dial back on your happiness. If you know people around you, your friends, your family, whatever, are sad or they're stressed out or they're going through whatever they're going through, you don't want to be the one that say, "Oh, well, life's great. I'm happy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm having the best moments of my life." You just don't want to be that person. It's just like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna be quiet. I'm gonna deal with my own ish," and you hold that in, and it's not good. You should be able to scream from the mountaintops when you are happy. And I say that a lot of like social media, sometimes you'll see like a lot of people making sad posts, and you're just like, "Oh, well, I can't say that I just had this great thing happen," because then it's like, "Oh, will anybody say congratulations?" Or they were like, "Oh, boo, you're trying to rub it in because this bad thing happened to me." Like, we've become accustomed to not being happy, and that's terrible. We are young, alive, and breathing. All of my dogs hate me. I'm so sorry. Because you don't even have to make all that noise. Ugh, the audacity. Anywho, um, you should be able to live in your happiness no matter what it is that you're happy about, no matter what it is that big or little. Stand in your happiness. And that can also mess with your mental, is that you're so afraid to be happy, that you're so afraid to enjoy life to a certain extent and say it out loud that you're happy about something because you don't know how other people are going to take it. So you just be like, "Oh, okay, that happened, that was good." But then the opposite, some people don't know how to deal with their pain either. Some people don't know how to be in pain, and I feel like it's because of, I want to say, society has made us this way, where when we're in pain, when we're grieving, when we're going through things that we're going through, we feel like we have to hurry up and deal with it and be over with. Like, and that's crazy to me. Like, grief, for instance. Somebody close to you passed away Monday, and this could probably be because of jobs. Like, jobs, you like, you get a day to grieve, a day for the funeral, come back to work the day after that. Like, that's all I got for you. So we've become accustomed to that, where, and it's also, if you look at social media, one day they'll post about someone passing away. It's a sad thing for 1 or 2 days, and then life continues to go on. So you feel as though you're just supposed to go on with life as if you didn't lose a particular person in your life. And granted, it doesn't touch everybody as much as it touched you or your close family members, but we've learned to just kind of slide past our pain. And then eventually it comes back to you, because that's what grief does. You can be having the best day of your life and you can smell something and it takes you back to that one person. You can hear a voice that's similar to theirs. You can see something remind you of them. And it just takes you back to um that sadness, and then you have to hurry up and put makeup over it and brush it off, and it's okay, don't worry about it, that never happened. That's not okay. We as a society need to deal with our shit, deal with your pain, deal with your anger, deal with your sadness, deal with your happiness, deal with your peace. And that's life. The emotions that we have, we're supposed to go through those phases to be here. Like, if we were just people who didn't feel or have emotions, we would be robots, and they're already trying to push us out for them. So let's not allow it. Let's allow ourselves to just be here in our moments and find things that don't mentally break us. Um, find things where you're like, okay, I want to write. If writing can help clear my mind, I'm going to write. I've learned that with podcasting and with writing my poetry. Ooh, excuse me. I actually wrote a poem recently, and it cleared my mind. It was like very invigorating to write. I hadn't written a poem in months, probably since early this year, and to have written one in my state of, I won't say sadness, confusion, just life, my state of life. That is now a mental state, is life. Um, in my state of life, writing brought me peace. It brought me calm. It brought me, I legit was like, wow, this felt better. But also, not only what do you do for when you need a mental break, who are you talking to? Like, who can you trust and who can you communicate with when you are going through things? Who's your favorite person to talk to? Do you have a person to talk to? Um, do you feel as though you only need to talk to God for people who, believers? Um, because y'all know, I go to church, I pray, um, and but that's not the only answer. Praying, yes, God is going to be, the one to take care of everything. But sometimes you do need somebody to respond back to you to help you through what you're going through. And honestly, sometimes God is sending those people into your life for you to talk to these people. That's what your friends and family that you trust are there for, to have communication and to help you clear your mind. Like, some people don't know how to deal with things because they don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to have those tough conversations with people or have conversations in general. People are so worried about others judging them and what they think somebody's going to say about them, and how they feel as though people should respond to them and how their life is going. Some people don't know how to just say, okay, I need help. I need a moment. I need someone to listen to me without response. I need somebody to listen to me and respond. I need somebody to hold me. I need a hug. I need a good cry. I need to break something. I need to scream. I need to shout. I need to run around. People don't know how to be vulnerable anymore because of the world that we are in now. Because in reality, it's like, when do I have time to be vulnerable? I don't have time to be sad. I don't have time to be stressed out because I have to make something happen. I have to make something shake. Like, okay, I'm I'm dealing with this, but I also have to worry about this. Like, if you're a parent, I'm an adult and I have adult shit that I'm dealing with, but then I have children that I have to take care of to make sure they don't see what I'm dealing with and it doesn't affect their childhood and their upbringing. Who do you talk to? What is your mental space to take a break? When do you have time alone to just say, I don't want to deal right now? And it's okay if you're overwhelmed. It's okay. And I feel like people don't say that enough. It is okay to be stressed out. It is okay to be overwhelmed. It is okay to feel like life is shit and you're not making it, you're not moving forward. It is okay. Be in that moment. Understand that. Feel where you are and say, I'm not doing good. But don't stay there. See, that's the thing a lot of people don't realize. You can always go to that space of, I don't feel good. Life is a lifing. I'm stressed out. I want to scream. Deal with that there and then figure out where to go from there. You don't always have to figure it out so fast. Because if you're not dealing with it, how do you even know you were in it? How do you even know how to get out of something that you don't know how to deal with? And I've told you guys before, I've had anxiety, I've had panic attacks, and I've learned how to deal with my panic attack. I now know how my body changes and how my body feels when I'm about to have one, or when I'm feeling too much anxiety that I want to ball up in the corner and I don't want to talk to anybody. I now know how to deal with that, and I know how to deal with it because I've dealt with it. And so much stuff keep popping in my head while I'm going, so I'm just gonna say stuff and we're gonna make it make sense, guys. Um, I was reached out to my best friend and I was like, it was last month, I want to say. Excuse me. I was having one of those anxiety high moments, and one of my best friends that I talk to about a lot of things, I reached out to her and I'm just like, bro, pray for me. Like, I'm going through it. And I will say, having a strong support system, whether it be family, friends, or blended relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, having that strong support system really truly helps you as a person. Um, my circle, as I keep picking people out and, what needs to be done, is very strong. I have people that I go to for various reasons. Um, and I have people that I can legit text my friends and just say, pray for me. And I got you, girl. I pray for you every night. Or I always keep you in my prayers. Or do you need somebody to talk to? Do you want to go out? Do we need a girls' night? Like, I have those people in my life who are very supportive of me, that sometimes I don't have to say anything. I have friends that'll just call me out the blue and say, you were on my mind. You crossed my mind. What's going on? How are you? And my instant response was, oh, I'm good. How are you? I'm one of those people who kind of push myself off sometimes, but I've learned to speak up and say, you know what, this is what I'm dealing with. Because it's better to talk about it while you're going through it than to talk about it when it's done. And now you're in a shell where you can't do anything and you're trying to break free. Like, talk it out. But my best friend, I'm going through some stuff, and she said to me, when you have fear, you're showing God you don't have faith. She might not have said those exact words, but this is how I summed it up. So go with it. Um, so basically, like, your anxiety is coming from fear, and your fear is because you don't have faith. So if you're having more fear than you have faith, then God can't, he's not really helping you out, because it's like you don't believe that he's going to take care of it for you. And that stuck with me, and I was like, that's deep, girl. Okay, I like that. um Shout out to Sela. But when she said it, I was like, you're right. You're right. I'm freaking out over something that I don't have control over, where I can literally only let it play out how God wants it to play out, or whoever it is that you believe in, the universe, whatever. However, but for me, in my instance, I had to let it be. This is what God wanted to happen. This is now a part of my plan. This is a part of my path. And the only way I can make a result different is if I'm different to deal with the end result. And I want to say my pastor just said this Sunday, and I didn't take notes because I got there kind of late. Judge your mama. Um, but it was to the effect of, that you deal with things, and you have to be like, you have to let a situation not change you, but make you better. You have to learn how to navigate through this world and deal with things, because whether you like it or not, there's always going to be something you have to deal with. And while you're dealing with it, or while you're going through it, you need to learn how to deal with it. Because if you're going through something and the only result is bad, how can you make that bad result split in half and become something else? How can you change the end result if you know it's a possibility that this situation is out of your hands? How can you gain control of it? No matter what it is. You having a bad thing at work, you don't like your boss, and you guys continue to get into it. How do you take control of your narrative? Because nobody else controls your narrative in your day-to-day life but you. How do I say, okay, well, this is causing me stress. This is stressing me out. What do I do in this moment to break down what I'm going through, to figure out where I can jump in and make a change so what I'm going through doesn't stress me out as much? How do I alleviate that stress? I think that's the word. Um, like, how do I get to a point where it's like, okay, I fixed it? Because in reality, a lot of shit that we go through, we it don't really be a problem or a thing that you're dealing with years down the line. Like, you always see like, oh, this will happen today, and years from now, I won't even remember that it happened. Unless it's a life-changing situation, there's a lot of things that you forget happened. Or and then that selective memory is like, oh, I did go through this before. Because the great Ty Tribbett said, if he did it before, he could do it again. It ain't nothing that you've been through that you've probably not faced before. It could be in a different capacity, it can be in a different way, but you've probably dealt with this before. And instead of taking so much energy to be hurt, to be sad, to be mad about it, take that energy to figure out a way to get out of it this time. And now, when you get out of it, close that door behind you so it never comes back. So you never have to deal with what you dealt with before. And that all comes down to making sure you're in the right mental space to do so. It is very hard to deal with things and try to always figure out how to fix it, but deal with it. When you're upset, when life happens, you have to go with life, because a lot of stuff you can't take back, a lot of stuff you cannot change. Once it happens, it happens. Um, Personal example: I went to LSU, drove my car on the way back home. My car got messed up. My transmission is messed up. It sucks. I haven't driven my car in about 2 or 3 weeks. It's just sitting outside. Not a great moment. I am not excited about it. I have a car note and I can't drive my car. So now I have to go find a new car. But I've looked at the good about it, because when I bought my car in April of last year, yes, it's only been a year and a half and my car is messed up. um, when I bought my car, one, I was not going to the dealership to buy a car. I was with my mother to buy her car, and I had extra money that I was saving for my car. And I said, while I was there, let me check their website and see if they got any cars in my price range. Seen a car in my price range, went on the online, did the pre-approval. Um, Joked with my sister. I was like, what if I walk out of here with a car too? She like, girl, don't play. I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. More money, and walked off to fill out her paperwork for her car. Look at the car. I was sitting there waiting for them to come back. And I asked the lady, I said, can you do me a favor? Can you just check to see if I... And she was like, girl, yeah, you approve. I can go get the car cleaned out. We could get both of y'all out of here. Me and mama both pulled off the lot in new cars. By the grace of God. Won't he do it? So I was not intending to buy a car that day in April. And when I got the car, it was not exactly what I wanted, but it was what I needed at that moment. It was a car. And it did a lot of the things that I wanted, and that was my car. But I did tell myself that when I turned 30, I was going to go make my big girl purchase and buy the car that I want. Um, and then it got to this year, I want to say, and I was just like, I think when I hit the first year with my car, I was like, nah, I'm gonna just keep my car. I ain't even gonna go and get another car when I turn 30. It's cool. I'm gonna just, I'm gonna pay on this note a little bit longer and then just see. It'll happen, regardless, it'll pop up, whatever. Fast forward to October. Now my transmission is messed up on my car. I have no choice but to either get it fixed or get a new car. Everybody keeps saying trade it in. I'm probably gonna take that route. We're gonna see. I'm gonna pray on it. But trading it in means I get a new car. Ironically, I turn 30 in a couple months. I would have my new car by my 30th birthday. I told myself last year or early this year, I told myself last year I was going to get a new car for my 30th. And then I changed my own mind because I became comfortable with the situation that I was in. And my God had other plans. Okay. He was like, no, this is what you said you wanted to do. So now you do it. And now, before I did not have a car to trade in. I just happened to have the money for a good down payment on my car. And my car note was cheap, is cheap. And the total amount of my car did not cost that much money, which I purposely did. But what God did was, now that my car is messed up, but I still have a car to trade in now. Granted, I have a note left over that I need to pay. It'll just transfer it to whatever car it is or whatever. Um, but I have a car to trade in. I have a job because I was in between jobs. I was like at a job, but about to leave a job when I got my last car and going into another job. Um, so I have a job now that I can pay my car note like I have been doing. Um, my credit score is better now because I have consistent payments on my car notes and on my credit cards. Um, I'm in a better situation now than I was then. And I've set myself up where I was going to just say, no, I'm okay. But now it's like a blessing in disguise that my car messed up at this particular time. Granted, I work from home, so I don't really have nowhere to go. So me not driving my car is not too much with the fact that I'm paying a car note and I can't go anywhere. And also, I would like to leave and come and go as I please. But nonetheless, the car still drives. I just can't go in reverse, so it just don't make sense to me to drive it at all. But anywho, timing and putting myself in a situation where I'm like, okay, my car, when it messed up, I was stressed out. I had to pay a little bit of money to get it back to drive it back home because the original situation was not my transmission. Then it led to my transmission. It was like a small thing became a bigger thing, and I had to drive a 13-hour drive to get back home. Very long driving how I had to get home. But whatever. I was in a situation dealing with it, and now my anxiety is not high about the situation. Um, yes, car searching is a process, but I'm not in a space where last year when I didn't have a car, I was more stressed out that I didn't have one and I'm looking for one, I'm going through this and I'm going through that. Now I'm like, okay, well, my odds are a little bit better now. Like I have the space to try to find the car that I want. Um, I've done this before. I've dealt with this situation before, so I'm going to deal with it better this time. I'm not going to get a car that my car didn't have a bunch of miles on it, but it was still used by more than one person. I'm not going to do that again. I've learned my lesson. I learned where not to get my car from next time. I've set myself up without knowing that I was setting myself up. That now I have more of a chance to succeed than I would have before. Me being able to have a car and have consistent on-time payments with my car note is going to set me up to go and be able to get a different car at a different dealership, possibly a different lender. It's just deal with things while you're dealing with them because you never know what you're learning in that process and where that process or where that learning will take you to. Um, I feel as though a lot of people don't deal with life. A lot of people are just living it, and stop just living life and live life. Go out, have fun, do things that you've never done before. Don't let life and stress and money be the reasons you can't be happy. Yes, I do know that if I found $1 million or if I was a billionaire, I would be a little bit happier. And I will say, because I cannot stand people say money will not make you happy. They lying. They ain't never not had it. People who say that ain't never not had it. Period. Um, because in the class level that we're in and the people around me are in, a lot of your issues stem from money. So money will make you happier. So hello, 1 + 1 = 2. But whatever. Um, but but even if you don't have that money to bring in that happiness or whatever you feel like you're lacking, find another way to gain. Do something else to bring happiness in your life because life is too short to not be happy. Life is too short to rush it. Life is too short to not have peace, to not be around people that love you, that support you. Stop being around people that bring you down. Um, People who are like slightly jealous of you or don't like you for real. Like, stop talking to them people, dating them people, leave them people alone. Stop being in that relationship just because you think it brings you happiness, but you really know that you're not truly happy, but you're searching for something so bad in a person. Stop that. Stop seeing the extra potential in some people that depends. It just ain't there. They just ain't got it. Move on with everything. We could have a conversation about potential, child. Ooh. But fine, be happy. That is my thing to you guys listening today, tonight, tomorrow. Be happy. Find happiness. Find your mental peace so that every time life gets tough, you always have that to go to. If you know life is stressing you out and you need a moment and grabbing that one book does it for you, do that. I've this month, I'm gonna wrap it up soon because we're almost at an hour. Whoop, whoop. This month, in the month of November, I've been doing new things. I've found peace in doing new things and taking a lot of out up, throwing a lot of out away, out with the old, in with the new. Like, I went into November saying new, it was gonna be November for me. New things, new happiness, new blessings, and I started the month off. I went to church first Sunday, and then with my mom, and we came home. And both of us like started separately cleaning up, not even like, hey girl, I'm gonna clean this, I'm gonna clean that. It was just like we just started doing it. Um, I ended up like my under cabinet in the bathroom having like a mess and I just kept ignoring it. I finally took the time out to clean it up and it made me peaceful. Um, I rearranged my room, like changed my entire room around. It makes me happier. Um, I cleaned up, I mopped, I swept, I did this, I did that. Because it was just it not that it's new for me to clean up, but it was something I needed new. Like I literally changed my phone case. I took off my screen protector that was cracked, put a new one on. I changed my phone number. I This month was about new things. I stopped talking to people that were not serving me purpose because right now that's not I need people to serve me purpose. I need to be happy in my life because it's the only life that I have. And why not be happy? I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be around people that bring me happiness and that pour into my life. It's just me. Me is what matters right now. So in the month of November, I went to watch TV shows that make me happy. I love Food Network TV shows, and I watched both of those like 2 days back to back. Um, I Things have just been fresh. That's what it's been. Things have been a new look at things, and I've become at peace with the new that I've been experiencing. Um, and sometimes you have to get yourself in a mindset of this is what I want and this is what I'm going to get. And if people, things, and places don't bring me the happiness and peace that I want, then I need to get away from those people, go to new places, and do new things. Period. Dang, that was a bar. I went crazy. Um, and it's funny. I went to dinner with my sister's 18th birthday, and my grandma asked me on my podcast, "Hey, Granny," 'cause she said she'd be listening. I don't know if she gets to the hour point. She's like, "Dang, they all gonna be an hour." So I don't know if she makes it to the end, but she listened. And shout out to everybody else that I recently found out be listening. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Um, she was just like, "Oh, you haven't made a new episode. How's your podcast going?" And I was just like, you know, I just haven't been feeling myself lately, so it's kind of hard to encourage people when I'm not encouraged. And I was like, "Oh, that was good. I'm deep." But that's true. This is very true. I do not like recording my podcast when I don't feel like I can help other people. Um, I sometimes my breaks are longer than I need them to be. They're not really even breaks. It's just like I don't really feel like it. I don't feel up to encouraging because I don't feel encouraged. And I don't ever want to be a false prophet. I don't want to be a person telling you to go be happy, go do this, go do that, and I'm not doing it. A lot of the times, 100% of the time, I'm honest with you guys. I might not 100% put my truth out there a lot, but I'm honest with you guys about things that I go through, what I'm processing and stuff like that. And I want it to always feel genuine and authentic. So if I take 1 or 2 weeks off and I'm not recording and I'm not posting and I'm not saying anything about my podcast, um, mentally I'm just not there to do it. And I feel like it'll be selfish of myself to take that away from you guys, and not be mentally able to share wisdom, to share words, to give advice, to do whatever it is that I do on this podcast. So I want to appreciate everybody that listens, that shares, that comments, all this and that. Um, and I want to just leave you guys with find peace, find your happiness in your day to day life, no matter what it is. It can be looking at your kids' faces and like seeing them smile. Just do something in your life that brings you happiness, because life is very short, and life is also not really unpredictable, because I feel like that's sad to say sometimes. Life is just lifing. And when in the midst of lifing, find something to live for. Find a reason to be happy. Find a reason to be joy and be in peace. Whatever it is, even if it's only for 5 minutes of your day, take a moment for yourself, because your mental is more important than anything in this world. And if you are not mentally stable, you cannot be physically, financially, or anything else if your mind is not right. So focus on your mind, your body, and your soul. Until next week, guys, or whenever I get back to y'all. Love you. Bye.